Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Ondas. It is time for another update, and on this chart there are technically a couple of scenarios that could be made to work out within the larger structure, but the main focus remains that we have here a larger wave 1 in yellow in a larger leading diagonal, a wave 2 correction, and now we are tracking within a larger wave 3 to the upside to form a larger ABC movement. Now, the thing is, this does not absolutely need to play within this idea, and this could be just a larger ABC movement that would complete a larger pattern, and we would need to expect a quite serious correction afterwards that, would expect at least a significant drop into low areas of support, or possibly even a major top that could lead us to new all-time lows. And it is unfortunate, but a more bullish scenario is a bit hard to find right now, more bullish than the leading diagonal, as we have failed even here internally to form an initial 5-wave move to the upside within the wave 1. If we managed to do that, maybe we could have considered something like a 1-2 setup with a WXY within the wave 2. In that case, it could have worked out for even an impulse to actually play out within this chart. But right now, at least until we get further evidence that something more bullish may be going on, this will remain the main scenario, the main interpretation. But even within this idea, we actually expect continued upside, as we are tracking here a large diagonal pattern in of itself. And here we have a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, and now we are in the larger wave 3 to the upside, which we expect to actually still continue a little while longer. Then within this wave 3, we are tracking an ABC movement where technically, yes, we could have even topped within this wave 3, and we could be looking at the wave 4 correction already and a 5th wave to complete the entire movement to the upside. But I believe we are able to track still another high within this wave C of the larger wave 3. And in that sense, we are tracking here this idea of a 1, 2, 3, 4th and the 5th to unfold within an ending diagonal. And in this scenario, we are tracking the levels of support between the $7.5 all the way down to the $3.6 to find support and create a reversal in an ABC movement into new high territory. And this interpretation that would expect continuation higher for us at the moment remains valid as long as we don't break below the $2 level. If we do build such a pattern that gets us below the level with a sustained break, it would be highly suggestive that this structure may have found a more significant top within another scenario, and that we shouldn't expect here to form the 4th and the 5th to new highs still. And then in the smaller time frame, in the previous video, we already had formed a potential top within the wave A, and we were looking for an area of support in the wave B between the $7.6 all the way down to the $5.7 level that would have allowed us to track a wave C to the upside. Now clearly we did get here into the area of support and we did start a reversal, although I'm not necessarily convinced that this is indeed the wave C, because within the structure that is forming right now to the upside, this could actually work out also within an extension of the wave A. Previously, I was even considering this wave A even as a potential 5-wave move to the upside, that could work out actually as a leading diagonal nonetheless, but it could work out, although extensions within this wave A are also a possibility, and if we find a more significant top sooner rather than later here, it will not necessarily be an issue to look for a reset of the wave B. Actually not even a reset in this case, but to look for the wave B correction once again. Now, at this point, I don't believe this structure is necessarily complete, and I would prefer to push a little higher even in such a scenario, but I will be even attempting to track the actual wave C to develop in a more direct fashion. Now clearly we don't need this internal count within this area, and we were also tracking here the area of resistance that would have allowed us to find a signal that if broken, the last level of resistance, that $9.8 level, we should be looking with higher likelihood for a more direct breakout to play out rather than a reset within the larger wave 4 in white. Clearly, we did find resistance at this point a couple of times already. Even in the second attempt to push higher, we did get hit by that wall, but we have seen a break now, and we are looking with an highly increased likelihood for the wave 5 to play out already, and to complete the larger wave 3, yeah, and also the larger wave C. Now internally within this structure we can remove the orange interpretation. It's not necessarily a high probability scenario anymore. Yeah, maybe if we are looking for the larger correction in the wave 4 where a third wave top might already be in place, could work out. Yeah, but if it really is that we are still within this larger wave 3, I would highly expect that we have already bottomed within this wave 4 and that we are in the fifth wave to the upside right now. And for some context here in this smaller time frame, if we are to be looking for a wave C to have already started and to already have the wave A top and the wave B bottom, we can actually even look for an ideal target for the overall wave C, and that would be at the $14.5 level at the 100% extension of the wave A. Although I want to make it clear, this is an ideal target, and while we don't need to get there, we also don't need to stop there. And then if I am to be tracking internally a wave C to develop within this area to the upside, I would prefer at this point to still track the idea of a potential impulse to be forming, in which case I would be tracking here an initial double 1-2-1-2 setup, and now I would be looking for an internal wave 3. Now this is not a requirement. The wave C could certainly develop as a diagonal pattern as well, but right now we are actually able to track this idea of an impulse, and if I am to be looking here for the ideal target of an internal wave 3, this would be at the $11.4 level, the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, and in which case we are quite close to that level, and within this structure to the upside, I would believe, actually let me remove this for a moment, but within this structure to the upside, I would believe that we may be looking here at something like a double 1-2-1-2 setup, a third wave up, fourth wave down, and the fifth wave that could realistically have already topped. Now, I'm not saying this is certainly the case and that we shouldn't expect even very significant upward possibilities, potential. Yeah, the market can always morph these scenarios, but it is a high risk at this point that we have already formed a more significant top, at least within the internal wave 3 to the upside, in which case I would be tracking here an internal 1-2 setup and a third wave, fourth and the fifth. And I'm not necessarily tracking this to say that again we have already topped within the wave 3, but to provide an area of support for the wave 4 to know when this area, when this interpretation is not going to manage to actually follow through afterwards. And in this case, I would be watching here the levels between the $10.3 all the way down to the $9.6 level at the 50% retracement, where a break below the 50% retracement would certainly remove the idea of a larger impulse to form at least internally within this structure that could extend higher. And then if we still manage to extend higher within this wave 3, I would probably need to assume that this was an ABC within a wave 1. We would have here a wave 2 correction and then an ABC within a wave 3. Again, not a problem. This wave C can unfold as a diagonal pattern as well, and we will be tracking these scenarios. But right now, for continuation higher, I am looking here for the area of support between the $10.3 all the way down to the $9.6, and this is based on the idea that we aren't going to extend in a more direct fashion within this wave 3. Yeah, clearly we have closed the day in or with a candle that was still extending the price even higher, and if it goes and goes and goes, we would need to still adjust this area of support along with the latest top. But for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. And yeah, also we do start to see some divergences, and it is possible to have top, that is all. Yeah, this could be still ongoing within a wave 5 even, but we may have a more significant top within at least this tiny structure. But for now, this is it. Have a nice day and bye bye.